entrepreneurial journey. Growing Terra Culture to become a recognizable brand. For those who don't know me, and possibly those who don't know of Terra Culture, hi. There's some friends over there. Terra Culture was founded in 2003 by myself. And the journey started simply because I wanted to create a center that would be a destination for arts in Nigeria. Needless to say, when I started it, nobody understood what I was trying to do. And a lot of people probably thought I was going cuckoo because I used to be a lawyer with the United Nations and I had this really fancy job. Anyhow, I decided to start Terra Culture. And today, from that, we also have BAP Productions, which is now known as Black and Proud Productions, and TKMG Auction House. Through sheer hard work and the grace of God and a fantastic team, we've been able to build this brand from someone's vision to become a reality today. And I would imagine that my journey would probably resonate with some people in this room because I know that some of you are entrepreneurs and some people are about to be entrepreneurs and some of you are probably even more superior than I am in what you do. But I believe that the journey of entrepreneurs are somewhat similar. So we might be able to borrow from one another. Now, the first thing that came to mind in terms of lessons that I've learned in this journey is the issue of failure. That's the first thing that comes to mind. As an entrepreneur, you're bound to stumble, you're bound to meet a lot of stumbling blocks, and you're bound to fail at certain things. But failing is not the issue, and it's not the number of times you fail that is the issue. It's the number of times that you pick yourself up, dust yourself, and continue the journey. So when I look at some of the things that we're faced at Terra Culture, I look back and I smile simply because I knew that those times were set up to build us for greater glory. So for instance, when we started BAP Productions, it was just an idea that I had that, listen, theater is dying in Nigeria, and nobody is really focusing on this area that could be a potential revenue earner. We know that there are plays in Europe and America that generate over $20 billion. And I said, what can we do about this industry that is just dying out? We had the likes of Hubert Ogunde. We had so many people in the past, Duro Ladipo. And I said, let's bring theater back. So I opened up our hall to the general public. When we started, at times you get 2 people, you get 3 people who would come and see the play. Occasionally we were discouraged. Not even occasionally, we were discouraged all the time. In fact, some of the directors that I brought in then, they abandoned ship and they took off. But I kept it open. Today, 7 years later, our plays have been to Europe. Our plays have been sold out. We've shown Fela, for instance, to over 20,000 people, one play. And we've taken our plays to several countries in the world. That tells you that there's a strong possibility if you hope and you hang in there. It was not easy. I mean, imagine coming into a hall where there's a performance showing and there's only one person in the space. To now when you have people jostling, pushing, you know, harassing, begging, and you're like, really, is this the same theater that you could hardly get anybody to come and see just a couple of years down the line? So you are guaranteed to fail, but what is sure is that every failure is a stepping stone to success. And what I tell people is that when you fail, it's okay. The greatest thing is not to have tried. So when you have people who come to you and they are negative and they're constantly running you down, you should ask them, what have you done? At least you have done something. And in doing, you have learned something. And that for me is the most important lesson. And I tell my children as well that the important thing is for you to do something as opposed to doing nothing. That is what is unacceptable. So as an entrepreneur, failure is part of the journey. We constantly get knocks. When we did our first musical as well, or even better still, when we did our the first movie we ever did, 93 Days, it got a lot of international recognition. We went to more film festivals than any Nigerian movie has been to. But we sold, was a complete flop in Nigeria in terms of sales. Does that mean we shouldn't do more movies? No, we're coming back with a bang. We're going to come back. We're going to keep coming back until all of you recognize that we're probably one of the greatest forces in movie making in Nigeria. And that's the game, that's the goal. And that's the way to approach any business that you do. Every time you get knocked down, you pick yourself up and ask yourself, what are the lessons I can take from that experience? Instead of trying to hide behind in shame or be discouraged, ask yourself, what did I do wrong? What did we do wrong in 93 days? We spent all the money doing the movie. We left nothing for marketing. So I could go back now and say, I'm not going to do another movie. No, the approach should be now, what is the lesson from that? Take it and move on to the next level. And that's the way every businessman should approach their business. So that's the first thing. The second thing that resonates with me is time. Investing in time. Nigerians and this present generation do not want to invest in time. We believe in instant gratification. So you start a business today, you expect to be the #1 by tomorrow. It's not possible. Terra Kulture has been in existence for 15 years now. Some people didn't know us, some people still don't know us, and some people will never hear about us. But whatever it is that we're celebrating today is 15 years of hard work. We get young people that come to work for us, they spend 6 months, they're off. We want to go and start a business. What have you learned? What have you done? What are you looking for? Surely there's a time to sow and there's a time to reap. That's what the Bible tells you. Even in Ecclesiastes, if you read it, it tells you that there is a season and a time to everything. There's a time to sow, there's a time to reap, there's a time to be born, there's a time to die. I don't know why people do not believe that time in itself is a resource. Until when you understand that time is something you cannot cheat, you will not go very fast in business. Because what will happen is you'll do this today, you'll jump to the other one tomorrow, you'll do this today, they'll tell you, when I started, my friends were in oil and gas. I have billionaire friends who went into oil and gas today. But I could have easily abandoned ship because some of them offered me jobs. That, join us, come and be our corporate affairs, come and be our... I said, no, I like what I do, I might not be making money, but it's okay. I actually enjoy what I'm doing. And they couldn't place a value to that because for them, the yardstick for success is money. And money is not necessarily the yardstick for success. It depends on where you are as an individual. So I focused on my race today. Some of them have a lot more money than I do, but the reality is they don't have more relevance than I do. And relevance itself is wealth, and it's a quality, and it's a value. So when people look at Wale Soyinka, he's not a wealthy man in terms of money, but his relevance is clearly more significant than the average billionaire that you find in Nigeria. So some of us should understand that time buys you relevance. Time buys you greatness. Time buys you occasionally money. But you must stay with a vision, you must stay in the business, and with time, you will reap the benefits. So that is one very important lesson that we've learned over time. So today, people come to Nigeria, they want to learn about arts and culture. They'll tell them, go and see Bolanle Austen Peters. Not because I started yesterday, it's because over 15 years we've stayed true to the focus. So when they're talking about arts, you look at that one person, that this is one thing that she has done consistently over the years. So when you're looking to speak about arts at the Financial Times, they're calling me, they want you to come to Indonesia to come and speak. They're calling you, because they believe that you know what you're doing. Over 15 years, surely you must have invested enough time to understand the business. So that is one quality that a lot of us need to imbibe and learn that it only comes with time. And another quality or something that we've learned in the course of doing this business is that as an entrepreneur, you will meet naysayers. These are people that will discourage you. Typically, they come up very early in your life. So when I started Terra, I had people who did not believe in what I was doing. Family members, friends. They didn't understand. My father was confused. What do you understand? He didn't get it. And even I didn't get what I was doing. I just knew that I liked it, right? So for a long time, he had a problem understanding why I would leave such a brilliant job for this thing. But today, my father calls me and says, I'm so proud of you. you know, you put us out there. Everybody's talking about you. Oh, somebody came yesterday. They say, ah, your daughter, your daughter, your daughter. My father didn't understand what I was doing 15 years ago. So I'm saying this to say that even though your family and friends discourage you, if you know where you're going, keep your focus. Those people will be there, but surround yourself with positive minds. As some people were discouraging me, my husband was saying, okay, let's go there. You know, yeah. Anything you tell me you want to do, if you say you want to cross the Atlantic, you say it's possible. That's the value of having positive minds around you. You understand? He doesn't think anything is not possible. You tell him to me, I want to do it. It's a good idea, fantastic. You do it. So when you have somebody like that encouraging you, you actually believe that you're infallible. You know, and the same goes for the chairman, who is also coincidentally co-founder of GT Bank, Terra. He was my founding chairman. He believed in this. I went into his office and I made a presentation. He could have very easily said, what are you talking about? He said, oh, no, I get a sense of it. We'll invest in this business. This was a vision of somebody selling something that is very ephemeral. You can't touch arts, for heaven's sake. And in Nigeria, really, it's not a sellable commodity until now. And those kind of people were the ones that pushed us to where we are today. Then after them will come the dream killers. The dream killers are the ones that when you started your business, they will come to you and start running you down or wanting to take the business from you. We had an experience where a financial institution wanted to take our company from us after we had built it. We fought them. You fight. You fight to save what you founded. You fight to save your baby because you believe in what you're doing and because you've created the value. Those are the dream killers. And even your colleagues in the industry, some would hate you just for being you. The fact that they're talking about you simply means that you're doing something right. So keep at it, ignore them, and then when you've crossed that Rubicon, when you've crossed that margin of dealing with the dream killer, then you'll now find enablers. There will be people who will come into your life and all they want to do at that point, they just want to bless you. They just want to support you. But you'll never get to that point until when you've gone through the naysayers, the dream killers, until you get to the enablers. Today, we don't have to market a lot of the things that we do. I'm doing a movie, I have more money than I need to do the movie. I'm doing a play, I always have more money than I need to do the play. Not because it was like that 15 years ago. I remember the first grant application I made to Ford Foundation. They were so, oh, bring it. I got there, I brought the application. When we finished, they called me a couple of months later. They said everything was fine. The day we were supposed to get the report, they called me in and said, well, you know, in short, denied. I was depressed. That day I just went home, I slept. Luckily sleep comes easy when I'm troubled. I just went home and I slept. Then I bought ice cream, which is mandatory for depression for me, and Smarties. And once I finished that, then I went back to work. Today, looking for grants, looking for support is no longer something that is an issue for us because you've proven yourself. But I could have given up at that point when I was denied that first application. And that is something that will come with this terrain. The fourth and final lesson that I think I'll probably share with you in terms of what lessons learned is the issue of money. Money is an end in itself in Nigeria. It's not a means to an end. Nigerians believe that if you have money, that is the end. What they want to use the money for, they don't know. But I have money. So it's it. Because money for us is the god of everything in our society. The truth of the matter is, money is not an end. What you should be seeking is value. How do I add value to my society? How do I add value to the people around me? How do I become somebody that when I'm gone, people will talk about me that this is what I have contributed to my society? That is an end, not money in itself, because you will find money when you find relevance. It will always come. So we never put money as the goal. When we started Terra, our turnover, first year, maybe 20-something million, maybe, then it grew, then it went into billions. Not because I focused on money, because we chose to add value. That is the difference. So who could tell you that an arts institution in Nigeria can turn over such amounts of money It is simply because money was never the goal. For 2 years, I didn't earn a salary, but they would know today, those who see you strutting around, they're angry. Angry for what? When I didn't earn 2 years' salary, were you there? But that is the beauty of life. You have to sow before you reap. And that is a lesson that we must learn as Nigerians, that it is not about money. It is about adding value, and value add will always bring money eventually. So those are the 4 lessons that that sort of like stands in my mind very clearly in my journey as an entrepreneur. So I don't know if you want to recap, because I always like it when people understand me. I don't like you just talking. So the first one, huh? I didn't hear. No, it wasn't the naysayers. I started with failure, and then the next one was time, and the next one was the naysayers and the enablers, and then the 4th one, money not being your focus. So those are the 4 things that is my personal experience that I know I have learned in the course of running Terra Culture. There are a lot more, but if you can just hold on to those, so maybe it will help you in your journey. Then they asked, how have I used innovation to drive growth and our presence in the market, in the industry? The truth of the matter is, today's world is only innovators that rule the world. Nobody needs to tell you that anymore. If you're an innovator, you'll change the dynamics of things. So if everybody's going left, I spoke to a very wealthy Nigerian recently, and I said, listen, how do you even make this your money? He said, Bolanle, making money is the easiest thing. I said, really? I said, okay, teach me. He said, okay. He walked away, he didn't answer me. Then he came back. I don't know, maybe some spirit caught him. He came back and said, come, let me tell you. First rule. I said, what's the first rule? If everybody is going left, go right. That was all he said. If everybody's going left, you go right. So if everybody is doing the art business like this, you do yours like this. If everybody is doing comedy like this, you do yours like this. If everybody is doing theater like this, you do yours like this. Initially, they'll think you're crazy. After a while, people start saying, why? And in truth, I knew him when he didn't have the car. I knew him now that he's a loaner. I'm thinking, actually, what he has done is everything nobody was doing in his space, he started doing it. And that's all we did at Terra. People are doing theater. They've been doing theater forever. We came in and we changed it. We started doing musicals. And they're like, this is not theater. I said, okay, this is our own theater. Musicals, that's what we like. Okay, and the public like it. What's your problem? So, it is what the public likes that you give them. Don't let it be about you. Especially people that are educated, we have that problem. We believe we can stick things down people's throats because we believe this is what we were taught and this is how it should be done. What you should be doing is asking yourself, what is not being done and what is the vacuum that I can fill? That is the difference. And that is how you make a difference in society. Not doing what everybody is doing what everybody else is not doing and you know is needed. That is what an innovator thinks. You're doing things differently. And we've used that in our musicals. We've used it even by putting in multimedia projection instead of putting props on stage. We've now bought new projectors. Then for art, we do art auctions. Not many people do art auctions in Nigeria. The same for our movies. We decided to do it in a very international manner. We didn't go for the low-hanging fruit of let it just be slapstick. We did something that was a documentary of the Ebola crisis in Nigeria. It is there for posterity. Hate it or love it. It's the truth. High-end, good quality. You can't beat that. So you have to insist on setting your own standard and being innovative in the field that you are. Today, even our food, our restaurant is probably one of the mainstays of Terra Culture. Most people don't know. All we did was people sell Nigerian food every day in bukas. We just made it a little bit more upscale. Every ambassador, every this that comes to Nigeria, they want to eat Nigerian food. Oh, go to Terra Culture because they trust the quality and they trust the presentation of the food. That's all that we did. We just started putting it nicely. That's it. And the same goes for art. We started doing art in public spaces with Lagos State government. And today, it's becoming fashionable to see public art and monuments in Lagos, which was something that wasn't there before. Finally, our expansion opportunities. What does it mean to us as a company? And how have we used this for growth? Personally, when I started, people kept asking me, when are you going to move to Abuja? When are you coming to Ikeja? And I keep asking myself, why do I want to go to these places? I don't have the capacity. This is a very niche industry. You have to be on top of it. I don't have high blood pressure. Then all of a sudden I'll be chasing shadows. Your staff in Abuja, they took this. No, I said, I'm not interested in expansion. If this is the one building that we inhabit and we do it right, that's fine. And guess what? When we were about to expand, it wasn't my money. Lagos State government said, okay, let's partner with you. Let us replicate Terra culture in Lagos, because we see the number of jobs you create every month. We see the number of touristic activities that go on there every month. So if you have this in the 6 local government senatorial districts, Ikorodu, Badagry, the Ibile plus Jibowu, that it would be value add to each region. More comedians will come out, more actors will come out, we'll be able to do more film screening, we'll be able to do more jazz nights, all these things that we do at Terra Culture. So I could have been sweating this 10 years ago, going to look for money, and then would have died. But I didn't need to. Today, somebody else is doing it, it belongs to them, but they're using us as the vehicle to bring it into reality. So all I'm saying is that don't always be in a hurry to expand. Nigerians like that thing of, I have 5 branches, I have 50. So what? Who cares? They're all bad branches. Have one. Have one that is quality. It's not about numbers, it's about quality. If the quality of what you do is good, people will look for you. And today, we live in a borderless world where technology aids us to be able to find out information about people and their businesses. So the reality is that what we do at Terra Culture is shown globally through social media, through the internet. So why do I need to be building buildings all over the place if I do not have the money and the capacity to do it? So technology has been very good to us. We've borrowed it, but the more important thing is quality and consistency. If you're able to develop your quality and your content, you develop a great brand, the money will follow. Those are some of the lessons I've learned in my journey building Terra Culture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bolanle Austen Peters. That was a very wonderful one, and I took everything hook, line, and sinker. I know that when I said you have an impact in my career, you must have been wondering what I meant by that. I started comedy in 2012 officially. I've been doing comedy before that, but I started officially in 2012. And I was looking for a platform to perform. And I heard about Terra Culture. There was an open mic that used to take place in Terra Culture every Thursday called Freedom All. And then I went there and I saw the crowd, young professionals who are talented but have interest in the arts. So after the close of work, everybody comes there and they display their talents. And so they called me on stage. And when everyone heard the name 16 Oniru, it sounded really strange, so nobody clapped for me. So as I was going on stage, I started clapping for myself. And as I started clapping, everybody started clapping. And so by the end of 2 jokes, I was already getting very wonderful ovation from the crowd. By the time I was done, they didn't stop clapping till I got back to my seat. And so I would always thank you for that venue. Although I came there last year when I was going to have my show, and the price they called for me, because when I saw that place and they said it was built for theater, I said no, this place was built for comedy. And I see that comedians have started taking over that place now, and I'm going to do my show there next year. Because I understand that now the prices are even more friendly. So I'm going to do my show there next year, and it's going to be called Royal Pains 2. I had first Royal Pains last year. I had to explain, because when you tell people that your father is a king, they think you don't have a problem in life. So that was why I chose the name of that show, Royal Pains, to explain that those of us who come from royal families, we actually do have pains. Bad things happen to us. So I came to explain. And I'm from a very, very polygamous family, a very big one. When I said my name was 16 Oniru in the beginning, someone was laughing. Yesterday, someone was asking, is it your house address? My father has 3,060 children. And in the Yoruba tribe, you know that we don't have up to 3,000 names. So my father, being very brilliant, made it very easy that instead of giving us names and surnames, he gives us number and surname. So if you are twins, you will answer A and B. If you are triplets, it will be A, B, C. So if I had a twin now, I would have been 16A, Oniru. He would have been 16B. So you can see now that it's not my house address. It's actually my real name. So our mothers just made it easy by giving us names that they can call us. That's why if you check on the screen, when they put my picture, you will see on me there. That was the name my mother gave me. My official name is number 16 Oniru, not my house address. I hope that's clear now. All right, so as we go into the question and answer, I'd like to call on the second person who has also had a tremendous impact in my career. I hope we've written our questions out. Please write out your questions so that they can be passed forward as I bring him up. I don't want to say he was now. He is my Faith Alumni designated mentor. And I sincerely want to thank Faith Alumni for, Faith Foundation for that system that after coming here to learn, you give us mentors to still show us a few things that we didn't learn in class. His name is Bumi Davis. I like to call him the most private public figure in Nigeria. Many people know the name. In fact, many people think Bumi Davis is a woman. A lot of people know the name, but they don't know the face. So I like to call him a private public figure. He's the founder of Afrotainment Productions. They call him a passionate comedy producer and consultant. He's the founder of Stand Up Nigeria, and Stand Up Nigeria is one of the most premium exclusive comedy events that we have in Lagos. It is 100% comedy. Just the way you were very stubborn with your vision of doing something for the arts is the same way he has been very stubborn with that vision, just comedy. And I can tell you, he has raised a lot of guys. I came for audition for Stand Up Nigeria twice. The first one was very bad. The second one was great. But I didn't get to perform until he started mentoring me. And I want to thank Faith Foundation for that once again. All right. It says here, though he is most times at the backstage making the events and comedy shows glamorous, he has earned the trust and respect of several comedians based on his decision to take the front seat of the comedy business simply as a result of his passion. He is the chief executive officer and the brain behind Afrotainment Productions, a brand that supports the realization of dreams, mine being one of them, which has grown to be one of the biggest in the Nigerian entertainment industry. He also graduated from the first Aspiring Entrepreneurs Program, AEP1 class, in 2001. I think he deserves a big hand. Ladies and gentlemen, Bumi Davis. Can we have the questions? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here. The first question, how do you balance creativity with making strategy for your company?
That's a very good question, actually. Because both are very intense and require a lot of focus. So, ideally, in an ideal world, I'd rather leave strategy. If I could find somebody who can do it for us, I'll leave it. I kind of enjoy creativity more because I see something that comes from my mind, and then I see the evolution and I see it in reality. That for me is just unimaginable, you know, when you create things. So it's been very tough. So it means that I don't do a lot of sleeping. They all know me. I'm a form of insomniac. So that really, really takes a lot of my time trying to strategize for the company and then also doing the creative part. But I think as we grow as a company, increasingly, I'm going to have to leave strategy to somebody else. As it is, the main building in Terra Kulture is being run by a completely different GM. So the art bit is the one that I still run. That I would also have to cede at some point. But the beauty of it also is that I have an incredible team. My staff are fantastic. You know, when people complain about staff in Nigeria, I don't know where they got theirs from, but I'm very blessed with incredible people. And I think it's a function of also what you give out, they also give back, because we're all humans. So my staff run a lot of things without me. But the strategy part, I'll still have to find someone at some point that would help us look at that going forward. But it's tough. It is very tough.
Somewhere down the line, when you were talking, you mentioned that you like to have one place and focus on it. Yes. Now, the next question. For a business like hospitals, what is your view on having branches?
Honestly, for me, it could be anything. It's not about numbers. It's about how good you are. So if you have one, imagine if you had, St. Nicholas for a long time was just one branch. And everybody who looked for healthcare went there. Yes? It was only the last 2 years or so that they founded another branch in near Chocolaria. Yeah? So that's really, you understand? So it's not about having multiples of, excuse my English, mediocre things. If you can handle it and if you have the resources and the capacity, fine. But if you cannot, medical care for me in particular is something that is very, very delicate and also requires a lot of funding to get it right. Surely it's better to have one massive one that works very well than for you to have small mushroomy ones all over the place, that you do not have an MRI machine, you won't have all the necessary equipment that you need to treat people. And then you say, oh, this person is sick, transfer them to a Butebeta branch quickly. It doesn't work like that. It's better to have one that works well.
This branch thing, I think you and I will still have to sit down and go over it again and again, because I have a new business and quite a number of people have told me that I should actually have branches. It's a business designed to work well on campus. It's doing well in Unilag. I'll see you offline. I'll see you offline.
No, it might be different for some businesses, honestly, yes. So I'm not saying there's nothing absolute in life. But I'm just saying whatever you do, make sure you have one solid thing if you're not able to replicate it at the same level. But if you're able to replicate it at the same level, why not?
So to the next question. Are we sure we want to take this question? Okay, I'll leave that to her to answer. Okay. Have you had issues partnering with Lagos State? And how is it about payments?
Oh, okay. No, I don't mind answering at all. So our partnership with Lagos State has been, in my opinion, fantastic. We didn't approach them. I guess maybe that's the difference also. Most people want to do business with government, maybe for ulterior motives, I do not know. But in our case, government approached us. I think they believed in what we were doing, and I think the government believed that these are professionals. They approached us and said, can you do this for us? And we said, we can. And they looked at what we had done and therefore engaged our services. So maybe it would be different if it was the other way around, I do not know. But it has been a fantastic experience for us. Not committees, commissions that we deal with, they are incredibly professional, because I guess it's the way you also present yourself. We don't have meetings, one-on-ones. We do professional emails. The deadlines are set. And what I found out about the ministry officials in our own case is that they are so well-educated, so professional at what they do. And it has been a fantastic learning curve for us, because on the outside, we all believe that all civil servants don't know anything. For us, we found out that they're just as qualified as us, and they're trying to do their jobs to the best of their abilities. But the system also limits them because they're not paid that well. So the reality is that if you want people to perform at a particular level, we also have to be able to fund their lifestyles, like the policeman scenario as well. We want LAPD policemen in Nigeria, but how much are we paying our policemen? And then we demand that certain things should not go on at the same time. So in our case, we dealt with the waterfront ministry and we dealt with tourism. They were incredibly professional. In fact, I don't sit in a lot of the meetings. It's Lanre, one of our staff at Terra Culture, that handles the Monuments project, and another staff handles the other project. It's been a wonderful experience for us. Yes. In fact, because of that, I made my son go and do his internship in Lagos State government when he came back, because we all also have to get involved in governance. So this thing of all of us saying, oh, we can't do, for me, it was an eye-opener. So when he came home, I said, please go and work in government. And he came back as well, and he was like, Mom, I love it. He was working in the PPE. Yes.
Okay, this next question. I'm sure quite a number of people here must have asked around and you ask somebody, how were you able to do this? And you get this response, nah, God, do. That is a very polite way of not wanting to tell you, or there is something fishy there. Now, let me read out this next question. Was it divine, or was it a childhood dream? That is one. Now, to the main question, how did you build Terra Culture? Was it divine, or was it a childhood dream? And please don't say it was divine, because no be God. It must have been through a set of well thought out processes. Kindly share with us.
Okay, so I started Terra Culture from first developing a business plan. Like I mentioned, those people that were critical, that I shared my ideas with. My brother-in-law was the one that sat with me for about 3 months. Every Sunday I'll go to his house. He will do the accounting. So basically, I came and I said, oh, I want to start a cultural center. They're like, right. What's that? I just wanted a hub where people can come, hang out, learn about Nigerian arts, literature. Yeah, right. Okay, so how many? Nobody understood what I was talking about, right? But I had it in my head. So he said, okay, let's do the business plan. So I went online. I did the bit of the research around the British Council, the French culture, things that look similar to what I was trying to do. And then he sat with me and started doing the math, because you need to do the math to get the monies. So he started saying, how many staff do you need? How many drivers? So all these things were completely up in the air. So I'll say, I think I'll need 3 drivers. We'll need one for the programming. We'll need one for admin. Okay, 3 drivers. How many staff? No, I'll need one for programming arts, programming this. You understand? So when people say they don't know, they have to be able to at least guess. So through that, we were able to put together a business proposal. Then the next step was, how do you find money? I didn't have money. Maybe at that time, I think I put in 17 million at that time. And GT Bank eventually put in 60 million through the SME funding. There's the government had that thing, SME funding going on then. So that was how we got there. And then even, how did I get GT Bank to invest? I got GT Bank to invest because I kept asking around that, who do you know that likes arts in Nigeria? So they said, oh, there's one man. Taya Aderioku is a bank MD. So they gave me about 4 or 5 names. So I had a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that I would go and approach. Eventually, I kept calling Taya Aderioku's secretary, because I didn't want to call him through people that I knew. Because again, the story will be different today. It's because they have access. Yes. There was no access. I did it the hard way. So I kept calling his secretary. About 2 months later, my phone just rang. This was when they just started using GSM. And I remember the person said, hello, my name is Taya Aderioku. I understand you want to see me. I said, huh? He said, yes, Taya Aderioku. You want to see me? I said, oh, yeah. Oh, thank you. I want to come and present something to you. He said, okay, can you come this afternoon? It took me by surprise, but luckily my proposal was ready. I said, sure, I can come. And that's how I went. I presented there and then, and he said, oh, this is fascinating. It's different. We'll invest in it. That is how Terra started. Now, how Terra scaled was sheer hard work. We worked hard, and we still work very, very hard. There is no laziness in any business that wants to succeed. So if people are fooling you that when you become an entrepreneur, then you can rest, it's actually the opposite. Because now we work twice as hard. Am I right? You work harder. Because every day I'm thinking, okay, what is the next milestone? What else can we be doing differently? How are we going to break barriers? How are we going to make this thing become an international brand? So you're constantly pushing the envelope, and you're constantly challenging yourself that you can do this. And that's the story, really. And then over the years, we've learned to be fearless. We borrow money. Go to banks. Women especially, women like to borrow 10 naira, 20 naira. Ask for the monies men ask for. 1 billion, we ask. Yes. So they'll tell you, bring your mom, your dad as collateral, put it there. Don't men also go? Men are bolder than us. So we also go, okay, if a man can do it, why can't I? So we do the same thing. Not recklessly, obviously. We look at the math and we ask ourselves, are we able to cover this? Do you understand? But we've become less fearful. And we believe also that if we work hard enough in the terrain that we know, we might be able to make these figures work for us. And so far, we've been fortunate. Yes.
All right, so the final question. During the presentation, you talked about not paying yourself for 2 years. How did you survive?
You see, I'm lucky. It's not the case for everybody. So I'm married, and my husband had a little bit of money, so we were able to eat, and we're able to clothe, and I still was able to do little things. So it's not the case for everybody. So I cannot say the same cap that I wear will fit everybody. So it depends on your situation. Some people, unfortunately, cannot be precisely because of their situation. So that's the reality of my life.
Thank you so much. Because of time, we won't be able to go further than this. Thank you so much.